What's going on, Warriors? Your boy Ryu, and I'm back with yet a continuation of the previous video. And sorry about that, guys. I actually got carried away in my own video. Um, I want to let you guys know that the last couple of levels wasn't difficult at all. I was able to clear it real quick upon the next attempt. I didn't realize when I actually lost out on recording time. I still kept on talking and explaining a few stuff, and honestly, I may have forgotten a few things I may have said as well. The bottom line with everything is that can complain about outside bosses because supposed to be justification is that is actually a little bit overworded in my opinion, because he's actually proven to be a pretty good character. You also have to consider the fact that when you actually do this test as well, you also have the opportunity to use amazing characters as well and test them too. So what that means is that putting into consideration, for example, let's say I'm going to face let's go with Kami, for example. We have team members like, no, let's not go to this one. This is not a good example. Where's I say not good examples? Because it's still really good, but I want to get some. You have team members like Sea Viper. You have members like Fashion Blacker, who are considered one of the, if not the best, free-to-play characters in the game. Right? These characters actually are there, and they're not performing great still. Right? What I mean, they're not performing. You're still struggling because this is where most people are going to be gauging this, and you have to bear in mind, like I mentioned before, the amount of fate gems you've invested in your fighting heart. Okay, this is important as well. And of course, like I also said as well, it might just be I don't know, maybe it's just timing or whatever. I don't know what else it is, but it wasn't a challenge for me as I expected, because I thought it was going to be a challenge, and that's why initially I said I wasn't even going to go through it. I was just going to try and explain how it works in most cases, and in case I do run into those challenges, but I did not. Everything is great and fine. Now, first of all, you have to understand that when it comes to these characters here, okay, once you see the character, I've always said it before, it's loaded with things like debuffing on opponents, like bleed, like burn, like shock. These characters obviously are typically cemented as boss dealing units that you want to use to power up as much combo as possible. There are a lot of people who have actually tested this character as well. Hazing, for example, has shown can hit a large amount of damage in the boss levels. All right, so I'm definitely convinced that he's a boss character in that light. Besides that, though, I also want to let you guys know that this character is also someone I can use in other modes as well. Like, don't sleep on the fact that you think, oh, am I just strict? No, he's not. You can, all the dreams that you may have, like some of my followers have, about pairing him with their strongest units, can still exist. Bear in mind, like I said, you're not, when you do these trials, this is a way to test character when you're primarily using them, right? But you have to also consider the fact that this guy has a synergy that helps him work even better as well. So, which is namely characters that inflict a lot of burn and inflict a lot of bleed, right? You want to make sure that you pair those. So his two favorite character of his would be people like Vega for one. Akuma is a good one as well. Fashion Blanca, Flame Chun-Li, ironically, as well. So when all these kind of units are pretty much good for him. So you want to make sure that you have these other kind of units as well to sort of pair with him in order to enjoy this feat. Okay, and like I was trying to say before, this also brings me to this stuff as well. This actually gives you more encouragement, guys, to try and pair with this guy right here. Okay, all right. Especially if you're like me to end card, this Inferno characters are people that, unless you're a whale, you can't afford to just start boosting him. You have to prioritize. So you may have other people are there. There are definitely going to be a lot of people ahead of him in the divination light. Okay, and speaking of divination, just wrap things up there. Also, before I go to divination, is the same applies to like Flame Chun-Li as well. For you to actually effectively use Flame Chun-Li if you're struggling, especially in the boss fight, is you want to be running. I believe this is her. Let's see, let me get her up because I want to make sure I'm getting the combo right in the chain. Okay. Another skill you can use as well is you can look and review your your high damage dealers, their videos. So for example, let's say, I'm trying to, let's go over here. Now let's not go to secret train. Let's go over to this whatever. I'm not really taking this so seriously. I just kind of like rush it. The title party, yeah. Let's say for example, I'm trying to like get a high score here. I could go to battle report here. Look at that's not where am I going? Leaderboard here. Look at one of the highest damage dealers, right? And then see what they're doing, right? So this is the team that they're running. Most of them are running, okay? But of course, you're going to also look at the fact that you may not have that team that they have, right? So you want to make sure you have a team as close to the ones that they have. People like these guys here, look at his. I'm trying to look at, can we see? Yeah, look at this detail here. This is a whole lot of power, man. So you know that you cannot obviously compare with that. And the truth of the matter is this: you're going to be way down the pecking order, all right? And you're not probably going to see someone that actually has close to you. But you can always go to someone like the bottom 100, right? Look at the units there. You have to consider the setup that you have as well and all that kind of stuff, and see how they're working this stuff. Okay, this is not a good example because you don't have Flame Chun-Li in the lineup of some of these guys that actually putting up their numbers, right? Because it's not probably an event for Flame Chun-Li, but that is a way to look at it when you're trying to attempt boss fight and learn how to actually use character. Otherwise, going back to trying to explain what moves you really want to be working when it comes to Flame Chun-Li. Okay, if I can remember correctly, because I have loaned her before to try and do some of these battles here and there. Actually, I should just taking you guys to the guild because this is going to be one of the better examples where you can actually see her being used, right? In the leaderboard, I believe she gets used here. Yeah, so you see, that's right. This is where she gets used a lot. But they're using Viper and Fashion Black as a mid damage dealer. In this case, I've seen somewhere they use Flame Chun to actually contribute. But you also have to remember that it's not just about when it comes to Flame Chun-Li. You can see here she's dealing 40 damage here. You can go right here. You can watch, the replays and see how they actually come through, or look at the stats as well and see what combo is used more frequently. Let's see over here. I'm trying to see, yeah, the skill stats here. All right, so you can see to tell you this is the move that she used more often than this. So you want to be using this search. Sometimes these images are wrong, so I'm not going to just depend on that. I will just say what the video is here, but what I've noticed is, let's go back to the character herself so we can wrap it up with Flame Chun-Li as well for those who actually have concerns about Flame Chun-Li. Okay, gallery, yeah. Let's go to 100 units. All right, so this, what I've noticed is they start the combo with her, they do this, and then they do the C2. All right, and now of course you fill up the gap with whoever else you're working with. Typically Fashion Black has one that does the C1 in what I've worked, and then whoever is your last slot, it might be Bison, could be who else they typically pair with her. I could Bison, anybody else that has like a C3, you use that to finish that up. All right, but I know typically you run this two a lot to get her to contribute as well, and you sort of interchange with also Easy Fashion Blanca is C1 as well, but typically these are the two modes. So the C2 is an absolute must when you're using her in these boss fights. Okay, so they're both really great units. They have different uses, but Ken, for example, is a much better unit than Flame Chun-Li, in that he actually becomes the main damage dealer, all right, in the boss fights, as well as he's pretty good in all the other modes as well. He's a pretty good guy you can use. And like I said, when I was pretty much in the where are you? Okay, when on the Charlotte City event, he was actually offered as well. Want to confirm? Give me a second here, real quick. Here, yeah, it was offered as well. So that kind of puts him in a good spot, right? But this time around, I don't know. I can't see him right now because they're not running. Now they're running what Flame, Master, and what's the other and Wind. There was a time where you running Legendary. I think it was before the end of last week, so it was available once and stuff like that. I can't remember. I just know that I was able to use him once in the Charlotte City event. I think it must have been like maybe was it Sunday or Saturday? I can't remember. But yeah, he's a good unit. Trust me, I've used them in regular fights when he was loaned. And of course, he's not maxed out, no vehicles, and he's still rocked. So Yeah, he's a good character. Worth the purchase for sure. So don't feel bad if you guys are saying he's not giving you the kind of damage that you want. He's really great. And otherwise, I'm gonna wrap it up with the T2, where you can get T2s. We had one of my boys as well pretty much asked a question on that. With T2, I mentioned it before briefly, but just to show you again, number one source is typically going to be the guild shop, but for the guild shop you have to actually attain a certain level. I can't remember what that level is anymore, but I believe it's in excess of 20s. I don't know if you can still see. So for example, if I go over to main screen here, no, to challenge here, it does tell me that if I achieve certain stuff, I'm about to unlock so trying to see here. Yeah, it's going to be definitely around. I know it's a bit far, but that's one of the sources where that's going to be your main source eventually. All right, the other one obviously you want to go for is going to be any of the Satsui, any of the Shadow City event modes. As you go further, you're going to unlock that shop, and it pops up sometimes. I would only recommend you go for the one that gives you 20% off whenever you come across here. Don't force it and go for others unless you can afford the funds. Then of course, by all means, go for that. But this is going to be your best bet right now. It's going to be the malt. That's the malt. No, apologies. It's going to be the exchanges, right? So vital supplies here, you can see these are the T2s that you're looking for, right? This is where you can get your T2s. All right, you also have this one here. They're always available. This is another T2 as well. The T2 obviously are going to be the ones that have the the 2 plus on the left side. All right, that's not ×2, that's actually the T2 mode itself. And here as well, okay, the only thing, like I mentioned before, is you can go right ahead and watch my video before again as to what I recommend you guys go for, and that's so you can now decide which of this supplies or tents, whatever, is going to be where you want to focus on getting your T2, okay, because you want to get it everywhere. And like I also mentioned as well, when it comes to the T2, do not be too aggressive with it. Make sure you just get enough, at least, if anything, if you want to strategize with the units. All right, you're going to definitely have your lineup is going to definitely have your main damage dealers. You want to focus on, for someone like let's say you have Viper, the top 2. This I gave her somebody else. Let's go to someone that's actually complete. Let's go to my Ivry because he has everything I need. All right, so you want to go for your top 2 here, because these are the more attacking based ones, and you want to add an extra bit of attack because you use your leg kick as well. So I guess they add attack here too. For Ivry, his is crit rate, so not every one of them that has attack as the secondary equipment here, but this first typically attack. I actually just noticed that now. So every actually has crit rate rather than attack, but someone like, let's go to went all the way back, Viper again. Why does she not have? Okay, let me just give her someone else's so I can actually just explain. With Viper here, you can see she has attack as the final bottom as well, so you can get extra attack with those 2 up there. But these 2 generally give you the highest amount of attack. The face first, then the forearm, and of course the legs are in some cases, or at least you increase your crit rate, that kind of stuff. So that's what you do when it comes to your attackers. For your support and your tanks, you want to go mostly with the lower portion, all right, because this is where you're going to get more of the HPs. All right, let's just give her, I'm sure I have some spare one here, right? Let's just give it this one, for example. You're going to get more HP on this lower ones here. You can prioritize that onto and just balance it out. So unless you're satisfied with what you need in the stores here, if you want to go ham and go for everything, you can do that and go for everything for the T2s. But I'm not super aggressive with the T2s. Of course, they are great. They do push you more. I have other priorities, that's why I haven't really pushed those. But that's where you can find the T2s. The 3 options are generally going to be, once again, the guild shop. Once you have qualified to acquire them from here, right, you definitely have to go a certain level. You'll know once it actually approaches. The second one is, this is a main source. Whenever there's events, they always typically come up for as part of the exchange. They can actually pick them for. And then of course the last one, well, not the last, but the third one is pretty much going to be a Shadow City. And then the last one is also going to depend on your progress level. So as you go further, you're going to set, you can see here, oh, this is perfect, this is perfect. So you get, once you've hit a certain level as well, your idle gains are going to get you T2s. As you can see, this has got me T2s. What I typically do, I want to explain it again. I know I say it a lot, but I say it passively, so I want to say it like more actively right now. When it comes to my idle gains, I don't collect them unless I have certain items. I kind of lost the opportunity there. That's annoying. All right, so those items have to be, let's go to the bag because you can see them anyways. The items I would typically use to guarantee that, okay, you know what, I have this item, I'm going to collect it. It has to have one of these T1s or T2s. That's one item that, that's one item that guarantees, okay, you know what, I have a good collection, I take it up. The second one, it has to have one of these shards, one of these, fragments. All right. Regular ones doesn't have to be most of these ones here, because it's not going to be only pullable from the scrolls, and it has to have one of these kind of equipment. Whether they have or elements or not, it has to have one of these SS equipment. If it does have 1, 2 category, let's say category 1, category 2, or category 3, which is the T, the T equipment, then I'm not getting that. Okay, I'm not getting that. I'm just gonna go right ahead and just say don't get it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, because this video is gonna be partially a little bit long, I'm going to put descriptions on the videos also to explain how the cut is going to be. There's going to be a part 1. The part 1 is obviously going to have that weird ending. I'm going to maybe try and create an ending for that to just explain why there is a part 2, and then part 2 is going to conclude the video with also your answers with regards to the T equipment as well. And if you have more questions as well, keep them coming. If the question I can answer right away, I will answer them right away, of course. And the question that would actually help with some sort of exhibition or explanation as well, I would definitely do that for you guys as well. Thanks again for following and for subscribing as well. I totally appreciate you guys, and for always commenting often. I love my daily commenters. I look forward to seeing your comments often, and I'm always happy to reply. Sometimes I might reply really late. Apologies for that. And work, family and all that stuff gets in the way sometimes, but I always have you guys in mind, and I'm always looking forward to replying again when it's ready. Otherwise, it's been your boy Shin Ryu. I will try and be more and more attentive to what the good news are going out there, because I had some delay with regards to giving you guys the anniversary codes. No, not necessarily anniversary codes, like the guide code, gift code for the gems. I'll try to make sure I'm on top of things in the future. Otherwise, I'm going to send out here, and I'm going to try and also do something that's going to be interesting. I'm going to start. I was asking questions if I should actually go right ahead and proceed with doing videos on this, but I attempted what I'm talking about is, I'm talking about the where is it? Where is Ken's stuff? Yeah, the Gate of Glory. I'm talking about the Follow the Sand event. This sort of events here, I'm gonna make it a thing now. This event where they actually feel like they're like a storyline. You're watching something happening, because there's different alternative ways to go about it. I'm going to do live recording so you can see how I'm actually getting through this, and succeeding as well, and then that way you guys can know what to expect going forward. Okay, otherwise, thanks again for tuning in, and it's your boy Shin Ryu, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys.